Today, 17th of November 2025, the Vice President of Nigeria, representing the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has declared open the C-PACT summit happening here at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, where the President clearly commended the effort of the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adewale Adeni MFR, for bringing this summit to Abuja.
The utmost certainty in governance is that none of us can prosper in isolation. We exist to complement one another. Our size, our resources, our latent talent mean little if they are locked behind inefficient borders and fragmented markets. This is why I'm excited about the promise of this day. Our collective resolve to discard the old habit of accepting slow borders as destiny and instead embrace the discipline of building borders that move in the spirit of modern ambition. What we gather to pursue is the redesign of our continental future. When this administration assumed the mantle of leadership, we could only deliver our promised dividends by reforming structural barriers to trade and investment.
In the heart of Nigeria, the capital built on humility and purpose, a quiet revolution begins. Not with protests or placards, but with handshakes and a shared vision. This is Abuja, and this week, it becomes the principle for Africa's economic future.
Our declaration for transit, wherein the initial declaration serves as a manifest a destination. And it's been practiced in many countries within the West African region.
They come from every corner of the continent, customs leaders, trade architects, and financial strategists. They were received not as foreigners, but as family. In these moments of fellowship, over shared meals and stories, the first bricks of a new foundation were laid. The air is thick, not just with anticipation, but with the weight of a shared challenge. The complex, often frustrating web of borders that has long defined and confined the African trade.
The mission is clear, the commitment unwavering. A visit to the seat of power, Aso Villa, was more than a formality. It is a signal that Nigeria, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is taking its claim as a driving force in Africa's collective progress. This was no longer just about national interest. It is about continental destiny.
And so, the conversations moved from the dining hall to the conference floor of the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja. The Customs Partnership for African Cooperation and Trade, C-PACT, was born. Powered by the Nigeria Customs Service, fueled by the financial ingenuity of Afreximbank, and guided by the global standard of World Customs Organization.
Customs must continue to embrace self-improvement. Administrations must continue to push toward modernization. Applying standards and embedding them into core work processes, building and maintaining expertise, making investments in enabling technologies and systems to sustain customs agility, and enlisting the support of others, particularly other government agencies, the private sector, and other customs administrations, are the path to success. The WCO is a proud partner with you in these endeavors. We're happy to support the vision of the AFCFTA through practical measures that make trade facilitation and the proper administration of trade preferences a reality rather than just a set of ideas. I'm proud to know that Customs Directors General are leading improvement efforts in many parts of the continent, and I commend you for continuing to seek opportunities to align with global best practice.
Convenience of this forum has brought together.
This is where the abstract becomes actionable. This is where the vision of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFTA, meets the practical mind, tasked with its implementation.
C'est de vouloir tout de suite automatiser des processus.
Has to be modernization. So there's a WCO plan. It's important for ESA to latch onto that plan and be in alignment with that plan.
The challenges actually come when we have to move goods across land borders. That's where I think the problem is. So in terms of procedures, if I'm receiving goods, if Cameroon is receiving goods from South Africa by sea, it will be the same procedures, the same number of things, and that's where we put a lot of effort.
A key highlight at the program was a panel session focused on the importance of collaboration. Experts explored how shared system, mutual trust, and coordinated border procedures can strengthen trade facilitation across countries. The discussion underscored that Africa's economic integration depends on cooperation, where nations pursued shared interests, exchanged intelligence, and harmonized customs processes to eliminate bottlenecks.
The Nigeria Customs Service, positioning itself as Africa's leading administration, steps forward not as a commander, but as a collaborator. Their message: the future is digital, the future is smart borders, the future is built on strategic partnerships and leaves no one behind.
We are not here to deliver speeches at each other. We are here because we have reached a point where customs administrations across Africa need to stop being spectators in the AFCFTA story and start being co-authors. Customs all over the world are the custodians of trade data. We hold the most granular real-time information on what is actually moving across our borders, what is being traded, where it is going, what the values are. This data, when properly harnessed and shared, becomes essential intelligence for driving continental trade objectives. The SG was very emphatic about this in some few days when we met. If AFCFTA is to succeed, customs must leverage our unique position as data custodians to better serve the continental agenda. These conversations were not one-sided. We have also been engaging the WCO Secretariat on how best to equip customs on the continent to take up our responsibility in promoting AFCFTA. From those exchanges, a consistent theme has emerged. One that I believe is fundamental to our success. That is the imperative of regional ownership and collective discipline in our approach to AFCFTA implementation. What we do with these continental agreements cannot be driven from outside our continent. It must be anchored in African realities, led by African institutions, and sustained by African commitments. We cannot continue to work in silos. Our trade finance mechanisms, customs procedures, payment systems, and regulatory frameworks need to speak to one another. That integration is what will lead and translate the policy and vision into operational reality.
C-PACT is more than a conference. It is a turning point. It is the moment we choose to stop seeing borders as barriers and start building them into bridges.
Now, as the inside man looking out, or the outside man looking in, if we look at the Lagos-Abidjan corridor, everybody wants the transit system to work.
I'm also familiar with the WTO Trade Pacific Agreement that has a specific provisions on freedom of transit. And I think we are committed to the implementations of that freedom of transit. And I want to see whether you can also relate it to the freedom of transit and how that is done.
Imagine Africa where a tomato farmer in Ghana can get her produce to a market in Kenya without the spoiling at the border. Imagine a tech startup in Rwanda sourcing components from Nigeria with the click of a button, clear through a single digital window.
It is not all doom and gloom, and we're seeing the benefits that deliberate reforms are bringing. Some of these reforms involve custom-related modernization initiatives, incorporating key elements of trade facilitation, as well as the entry of private sector programs, including public-private partnerships. Along the corridor of Dar es Salaam and Kigali, transit times have reduced from about 10 to 14 days to about 6 days, while transit costs have also come down by about 20%. This follows the implementation of a regional custom transit system supported by a single transit bond. At Kazungula Bridge, Zambia to Botswana border crossing, the times have reduced from 3 days to a few hours when a one-stop border post was established. East Africa's single customs territory is another. Interconnection of customs systems across East African community partner states, enabling real-time information, sharing and use of a single transit bond has helped slash clearance times by over 70%.
This is the promise of C-PACT. It is a pact between nations to align their systems, a pact between leaders to prioritize collaboration over competition, a pact for a future where trade is not a battle, but a breeze, where prosperity is not a dream for a few, but a shared reality for all.
Best practices that can unlock African trade include the West African SIGMAT system for transit control, adopted by Central Africa and the Nigeria-Cameroon joint border post. Priorities identified for ACFA under this success include the political will and consistent stakeholder engagement to drive implementation and awareness, implementation of regional advanced operator program, AEO mutual recognition to facilitate cross-border trade, data sharing and trust building for enhanced regional bloc collaboration, clear and realistic frameworks with common threats that every administration is ready to implement.
We're going to have some special presentations to the brains behind the success of this event. Permit me to start with the Chairman Organizing Committee, DCG Deranadi, MNI, for a presentation for his role in coordinating these activities. Also for a plaque by the Comptroller General of Customs. Please come forward. We had differences, we agreed, we disagreed to invite the person who now appreciates the role of in coordinating.
The conversation in Abuja this week will echo through the port, borders, and boardroom of Africa for generations to come.
Understanding that achievement of the continent's goals requires sustained and collective effort. I'm hopeful that the discussions here, the relationships strengthened, and the insights gleaned build positive momentum that moves Africa closer to its desired place in international trade and in the global economy. This can be done step by step, improvement by improvement, partnership by partnership. And the WCO looks forward to working with you in these efforts.
Customs administrations occupy at the center of implementation of the AFCFTA. We have transitioned from negotiations ably led by the ministers of trade We are now in implementation mode. And in order for us to fully implement the AFCFTA and achieve the results that all of us desire to see, the leadership role of customs authorities is absolutely essential. And that is why the Customs Partnership for African Cooperation in Trade is an instrument that is indispensable as we implement the AFCFTA.
We want to thank you, Nigeria Customs Service, for the leadership that you have shown in organizing the C-PACT. It is evident that it will go a long way in enhancing the customs to business cooperation in Africa and the customs to customs cooperation in Africa, and also in enhancing trade facilitation in the continent. And we are all aware that's the whole essence of the AFCFTA, creating a single market where goods can move freely within the continent. And we wish to thank Nigeria Customs Service for the leadership that you have shown in the continent. And this is a milestone. This is a milestone for the continent. And you have set a challenge for this process to continue and to build upon it.
The theme for this year's Customs Partnership for African Cooperation in Trade is breaking barriers and building bridges. This speaks volume about the commitment of the Nigeria Customs Service and by extension the Federal Republic of Nigeria in collaboration with Afreximbank, WCO and AFCFTA to improve trade and boost the economy of the continent.